Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today, I'm going to highlight the comment section. I had two very good questions that I think are going to be the highlight of this video. Start off with this morning. We replaced a belt in here. It was the belt that runs the alternator, and I guess that's all it really ran. This is the one that was on there. This is about a quarter of the size that it should be. So put new belt on there. My goats are all mixed up, so that's great. They broke through the fence there. Whatever, I guess. So I've been doing questions in the comments. I've been kind of answering them in the videos. And I had two questions in the last video. They were from the Wisconsin Farmer and Hillman Farms. Seen them a couple times down there. If you do have a question, throw it in the comments, guys. I'll answer it in the video. And it also helps me with ideas for videos too, as you'll see in this one. So I believe it was the Wisconsin Farmer asked about the bull. He said it looks like a good bull. And he was asking about the advantages of buying a bull versus AI, and if there would be an advantage either way, or a cost difference. So, well, here's our bull here, and yeah, he looks like a really nice bull, and the people actually had him halter broke, and so he's a pretty mellow bull, but you never want to trust them anyways. But what we've done in the last 2 or 3 years now, we bought a bull, bred the cows, and sold the bull. We try to sell the bull for the same price that we bought it for. So in theory, you're breeding the cows for free. Just you got to feed the bull. But for us, I mean, he's not going to eat too much, you know. The very first year I had the beef cows, we did AI. I had 3 Hereford heifers is what they were. We AI'd. We only got one of them bred artificially. Ended up taking them back to the guy that we bought them from, and he ended up throwing them in with his bull. After that, we just bought a bull and sold them when we were done with them, and it's been working pretty good. AI does have its place. There's a guy down the road I do custom work for that does pretty well all AI, at least for his cows, and I think he tries at least once or twice with his heifers. Heifers are hard to catch. For AI, you got to catch them in heat, and they're harder to catch according to him. So he tries it, I think, twice, and then he'll throw it in with a bull, because, you know, naturally he just knows when they're in heat, you know, just how it is. I'm not going to explain that too much. You know, he's doing the show cattle aspect of it. He's got some really nice cattle over there. So to bring in a top-notch bull would be really expensive, but a straw of semen is fairly cheap. You know, I don't even know what we paid for when we had it done, but we like the bull. I feel like it's less management. You throw the bull out there and he gets the job done, and if a cow doesn't get bred, chances are there's a problem with that cow. So usually we sell them, we kind of buy and sell. We are debating about trying to keep him and use him 2 years. Probably wouldn't want to use him more than 2 years. That was the other part of his question is how long would we try to keep the bull? I would say 2 years. Um, Going into that third year, you're going to end up with his daughters in the batch. So then, you'd probably be looking, you'd either need another bull or just get a new bull altogether, um, and go that way. So he's going to hang out here until I think May. Sometime in May, we'll probably end up just bringing the cows back to the pasture and running them right with them. Or running the cows in here for a day or two and then letting them out, I don't know. But that's kind of where we're at with the bull. We'll see if we sell them in a few months or if we try and keep them. In a way, he could just stay with the cows most of the year, and then we could just kind of pull them out a couple months before they start calving, I think is what most guys do. So the other question, Hillman Farms asked, his comment question was, he saw that we have a Massey 8140, and his question was, what does that tractor do on the farm? And the last part of his question was favorite tractor brands. So here it is. It's a Massey Ferguson 8140. It's got the Dynashift in it. So you got your shifter's got 4 gears. You got a high and a low, and then you have an ABCD on the left-hand side. 4-speed power shift, I guess you would call that. This tractor's kind of getting phased out, honestly. I would love to trade this tractor off just because, I don't like it. It's just, I think it's getting worn out, and it's got, I think it's got less than 4,000 hours on, which isn't a lot of, less than 5,000 hours on, which isn't a lot of hours, but it's an older tractor already. But so this tractor, before we got our T7s, before we leased our T7s, this tractor was one of the main workhorses, I guess you could say. Number one, it was on the chopper. When we were milking cows, this tractor was a chopper tractor, and it chopped hay all summer, chopped corn in the fall. We used to chop bean straw. So the number one thing with this tractor is on the chopper. It got starting in the spring. It was on the field cultivator, the digger, field cultivator or digger, depending on what you like to call it. We had it on the disc. When we had a 7-shank chisel plow, it got put on that a time or two. Between this tractor and our white 2180 that we had at the time, these were kind of our tillage tractors. It got put on a no-till drill. The stock chopper, it ran our roller mill blower, high moisture corn grinder blower, whatever you like to call it. Manure spreader. This tractor is on the manure spreader quite often. And this summer, it was even on the manure spreader this summer a couple times. But now that we got those two T7s, which are leased, 3-year lease on them, mainly because I needed something better for the balers. And overall, I mean, we had this and our 2180. You know, we wanted to upgrade a little bit, and with the just wanting to upgrade and then going and looking into getting into the baling, we wanted something better. So this tractor, um, in the spring, it usually sits on the fertilizer spreader. Before, my dad would kind of switch out between the 6290 with the fertilizer spreader and the corn planter. Um, Last 2 years, I think this tractor's pretty well sat on the fertilizer spreader. I think it got put on the digger last year. You know, it's kind of our spare tractor now. It still ran the chopper this year. Um, it We hook it on the bale wagons a lot of times because the T7s are usually either baling or um, chopping stalks. It chopped some stalks last spring. We raked with it. Overall, I think that was pretty well all it got used for. Um, so our plan is to hook our bigger T7 on the chopper next fall. At least that's kind of what me and Dad talked about, hooking that on the chopper and pulling loads with our smaller T7. So another thing with this tractor, the last time I was in it, we're having computer troubles with it. This tractor tends to sit outside quite often, unfortunately. And after a good rainstorm or something like that, it tends to get um, a little weird when it comes to the electronics. We just kind of, usually it dries up and then it works all right. While the last time I got in this, the computer wasn't working or anything. All the electronics for like the PTO and the power shift were not working. I believe it's stuck in low range right now. I haven't driven this since I backed the chopper in probably December. And it does start hard as well, unless it's in the middle of summer, and even in the middle of summer, I think it smokes pretty good as well. But I don't know. I would like to. I said the ideal thing that I would like to do is trade in this tractor and that loader tractor that we just fixed. Trade those both in. Get a tractor about this size, about 140 horse with a loader on it. I think that would be awesome. So the problem with our loader is it's too small, and we can pull bale wagons with it, but you can't load them as full as you could. So we have this tractor to pull the wagons with usually, but it would be nice if one person was out there loading. We could load up the wagon with the loader and then pull it down the road. We wouldn't dare pull a loaded wagon down the road with that loader tractor. We tend to use this to pull up and down the road. And the steering is a little loose. You got to constantly steer one direction, and that, I don't know if there's a fix to that. This tractor definitely, we bought it used. It's been here longer, probably just as long as I've been alive, 20 some years now, probably. Maybe they got it when I was real little. I don't remember. It was used, so it's at least 20 years old. I think we were trying to figure out what it was, but the electronics are getting buggy and stuff like that. That's just you know, these tractors now. As far as my favorite tractor brands, I believe I did a live stream a ways back where I talked about this topic. I don't really have a favorite tractor brand. I can't say that I have a favorite tractor brand. Um, to be really simple, all the tractors on the farm, we have Massey, Ferguson, New Holland, Ford Industrial, Case Industrial, Deutz Alice. We've had White, we had an Agco Alice, Belarus or Belarus or whatever. We've had one of those. I just, you know, I've driven John Deere, I've driven Fendt. I wasn't too crazy about the Fendt. I didn't like the transmission in it. It could have been, if I found one for a right price, I'd buy it. That's just kind of how I am with tractors. You gotta find deals, and each tractor has its own responsibility on the farm, and you know, I can't really say I have a favorite. I got nothing wrong with John. We don't have any John Deere. I got nothing wrong with John Deere. Pretty well all the tractors on the farm, besides, you know, maybe the T7s, I had nothing to do with. They were here before I had any say in anything. I had a little bit of say in the T7s, kinda, sorta, mainly because we were gonna be baling, or, you know, I was trying to start baling, so we needed a better tractor. But other than that, I mean, the tractors on the farm, the T7s, the smaller Massey, this tractor, they all have their own job. Even the Deutz gets thrown on the rotary rig from time to time, small baler, the grinder mixer, you know, stuff like that. So, you know, they all have their own job, and if they do their job, I can't complain about it. And guess what? All tractors break down, so, you know, you can fight all you want, argue with the other guy all you want, but, you know, tractors are keeping the machine shops open because they're constantly breaking down. So, once again, thanks to Wisconsin Farmer and Hillman Farms. I probably rattled on plenty long, but two amazing questions that I thought needed some good clarification. And you know, I haven't really talked about this tractor, and I should talk about my cows more often, but you know, it is what it is. So, once again, throw your questions in the comments. I would like to see some new faces down there. Currently, I have these two guys been asking questions, and I really appreciate it. But I'd love to see some new faces down there. You know, any questions are appreciated. So, once again, thanks for watching. Throw your questions down there. I appreciate everybody here, everybody that subscribed, and I hope to see you next time.